Welcome to the Louie Herron Podcast, where I'm going deep into business, sales, leadership, and life. And I mean life, from the boardroom to the bedroom, from business acquisitions to personal addictions, from being saved yet still feeling like a slave, from manning up to mousing out, dealing with divinity to reality. This podcast is dedicated to growth, learning, inspiration, and healing. Jump in, hang on, and hang out. You'll never know which topic I'll tackle next. But one thing's for certain, I'm here to share my experiences, strengths, failures, and hope, all to help us live life at the highest level we can. Welcome in, men, gentlemen. How are we doing? How are we doing as we are merging into, oh my gosh, February is like almost done, guys. This is crazy. Like we are moving at a rapid pace. My voice is a little hoarse. Last weekend, I was actually outside of Houston, Texas, and I was training some leadership training, combining with Discover Leadership Training. Mike Jones owns Discover Leadership, phenomenal human being. He invited me to join him on the journey of 33 participants, going Thursday through Sunday in probably is one of the most powerful leadership impactful courses a person can go through. There were things that people did during the course of that weekend that most people will never do their entire life. It was quite the experience, but I'm hoarse because the approach early in the game is very, I don't want to say Navy SEAL, but very military in the beginning until we kind of really crack the egg and get down deep into some of the root causes of limiting beliefs and what holds people back. And I want to talk to you today about courage and leadership. I want to talk to you today about business. We talk about body being balanced in business. We talk about families. We talk about life's lessons. We talk about leadership, sales. All of this, man, is so exciting. All of this has so much to do with everything. So as you listen with the intent to be influenced. Understand that all of us can grow and get better in the capacity of leadership. We lead ourselves first. We lead others. We lead our families. Some even lead communities. Some even go beyond that. And so it's critical, in my opinion, that we all grow in that capacity. It reminds me of Theodore Roosevelt, April 10th, 1899. Some of you may have heard this before, but he says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out the strong man's stumble, or where the doer of deeds could have done them just a little bit better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again." Does that sound familiar? "Who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause." Man, that's powerful stuff. "Who knows in the end the triumph of high achievements, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who knew neither defeat nor victory." To me, that's extremely powerful, right? It sums up the core of a man, the core even of a woman who's got the courage, who's got the guts to get in the game, right? The courage to not make ass prints on the sidelines, but footprints on the field, getting after it. And I get so encouraged and so inspired and so motivated. And I hope those of you that have never heard me, this is Louie Herron. This is the Louie Herron Podcast. Man, I'll tell you, if you like what you hear, share this with somebody who just needs some energy, some power. We're doing our very best on this podcast to change perspectives, to change purpose, to change production, to change your profits in your business. We want to enhance everybody's mindset, raising capacity, focusing on expansion. We want to get better every day. And I think what Theodore Roosevelt said was so powerful is that, look, man, I mean, you're going to fail over and over again if you quit, if you stop. But if you don't stop and you strive valiantly with enthusiasm to continue to spend yourself in a worthy cause. Again, without purpose, there's no worthy cause. So many of us, and I've been in this spot, you go to work just to make the money.
Okay. And there's a time and a place to make the money. But overall, you can have all the money in the world, the Lamborghinis, the jet planes, you can have it all, baby. You can have everything, the boats, the private schools. I mean, you can have it all. Been there, done that, and still have some emptiness in your stomach. Still have that lack of self actualization of what you were put on this planet to do. Because there's more than just recreate, do a few deals, have some kids, and die. I just don't believe that's why God put us on this earth. I think we all have a purpose, we all have a mission, and to understand that is critical. I want to talk to you about business today. I want to talk to you about leadership in business. I think from my experience in owning and operating a few dealerships, having as many as 150, 200 employees at a Toyota dealership in Atlanta, Georgia, there's a lot of responsibility with leadership. And I think one of the main things that I often have taught in my dealerships is contrary to what most people think. The concept's real simple. There is an I in team. Now, I know you sit and listen and go, man, there's no I in team. We've been taught that our whole lives. We have been taught that our whole lives. But what if for a moment, you just consider that what you've been taught may not have been right? Think about this for a minute. If you think about it, the I in team, an organization will spread itself over an entire business community. We all know that, right? It employs several different people. However, the average person will almost always form a judgment through the contact of one person. Think about that. Somebody, your business, the receptionist, the tag and title clerk, the front clerk, like whomever, the average person will almost form a judgment of the whole company through a contact of one person. And you and I both know there's more in a business than one individual. That person could have had a bad day. But if this person is discourteous, inefficient, ineffective, unprofessional, it will take huge amounts of time and energy to overcome that first bad impression or that lasting bad impression. Each member of the organization who comes in contact with the public is actually an agent for the organization. The impression that is made by that particular person is really and truly an advertisement, good or bad, which will make a lasting impression in the mind of the public. There is an I in team. You count, you matter, and so does every single one of your team members. Period. Period. In a dealership, from the porter all the way to the general manager, everybody's the I in team. They will affect the outcome. If they play full out, they'll affect the outcome. If they half-ass it and they're lazy during the week, they're going to affect the outcome. Wouldn't you agree? Everybody's efforts, everybody's professionalism, everybody's attitude, everybody's everything will affect, because again, most of the time a company is really judged upon that one sales rep that they talk to, or maybe the sales rep and the sales manager they talk to. And that's the whole company in the consumer's mind. So as a leader, I think it's extremely important to make sure that you always impress upon your people. They count. They matter. They make a difference. And encourage them to give all they've got, to do the best they possibly can, to be the best version of themselves. How do people become the best version of themselves? It's real simple. It's leadership. And what's leadership development? It's personal development. When you grow people personally, they grow professionally. Let me switch gears and tell you for a minute what I think in terms of business culture, what a strong culture is versus a weak culture. Now, remember, this is my take. This is my beliefs and my impression of operating businesses and even the current business that I have right now. Strong culture. Here's a strong culture. If you've got this, check the box, man. You're doing a great job in Louie's opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Strong culture. Number one, positive environment, right? You walk in the place, you feel the energy. Number two, the leader is a motivator. The leader is an influencer. The leader is a connector. The leader is a transfer of energy. He or she is the one that makes things go. Number three, feelings of excitement, enthusiasm. Number four, team members are empowered to ask questions. They're empowered. In other words, we encourage it. We want you to ask questions. We've got a suggestion box. We got open door policies. We got meetings that you can speak and share your opinions with, or questions that you have. Now, again, most leaders don't know how to combat a scenario situation in public when somebody wants to voice their opinion. It's real simple. It's real simple. Give them their mind. Okay, I've heard you. Can you hear me? Okay, let me go. Let me speak. And you address it in a manner of which that builds them up, right? And answers the question. But team members have to be empowered to ask questions. Number 5, team members are eager to learn and grow. Think about your environment. What business are you running? Do your people, are they actually excited to learn and grow? Or do they mealy mouth, bitch, moan, and complain all the time? Have little lot lawyer meetings with their buddies about how shitty things are and how the pay's not working right and blah, blah, blah. That's leadership. Leadership. Leadership excites team members that want to learn and grow. Number 6, attitude for success is created. An attitude for success is created. This is, I think we're talking a strong culture. We're talking a culture. Look, when you walk into some of these professional organizations on these athletic teams that have won championships over the years, you don't think they have an attitude for success, a mentality, a mindset? That's critical. That's a strong, strong culture. Number 8, all team members are special and respected as individuals. Now, all my high D personalities, all my dictators, special and respected. Oh, we got to respect the people. Yeah, I believe you got to respect people, because whether you're in a business setting, a home setting, or in a friend setting, if you don't respect somebody, you're not going to get much out of them. Right? You need to create an environment where they feel like there's somebody. Look, you're a leader. Leaders are supposed to get people to not where they're currently at, but where they currently can be. Their leaders try to get people from the gap, from where they're at to their potential. The gap in between is what a good leader is trying to get somebody to get to. And lastly, in a strong culture, team members are challenged to go disrupt the status quo. Live a little bit in the chaos. In other words, push the envelope. Be the best you can be. Grind a little bit. Like go after something big. Don't be afraid to fall on your face, man. Dust yourself off like the samurai warrior, man. Armor on the front. Always just keep moving forward, man. You want a business that's rock and roll? Create a strong culture. You want to know what a weak culture is? It's almost the opposite. Number 1, negative environment. Number 2, the manager simply dictates, just tells people what to do. Number 3, coworkers badmouth leadership. Number 4, employees are afraid to ask questions. They don't want to do that. They know what's happening if they do that. Number 5, employees make tons of excuses. Number 6, employees see no future for themselves. They just come to work. That's that. Number 8, judgments are made about individuals. And the last one, the standards are low. So if you listen to the business culture and you think about your business, whether you own one or whether you're working in one, do you have a strong culture or do you have a weak culture? Think about it. I don't know that answer. I can tell you in operating dealerships, there's been moments where I've had some weak cultures. And when I've had weak cultures, I've had weak management, right? Those are my leaders, right? And I employed those leaders. So that made me a weak leader, right? So until I had to cut out some of the weakness to build back up a strong culture. Look, there's an ebb and flow in any business and any relationships. There's harmony, disharmony, right? It's up and a down. It's a flow. It's a back and a forth. What we want to accomplish is create a strong culture to where that ebb and flow is minimized. You've got a strong culture of positive environment. Leaders are motivated. Everybody's excited. People are empowered to ask questions. People want to grow, man. They want to grow with you. Right? They want to grow with you as a leader. They see your success and they think you can contribute to their success. They want to be a part of your success. They want to help build your success for your family and you. They just want a little bit of it as well. Right? They just want a little reciprocity. I think it's a very, very important thing to really identify what is your culture. What is your culture? Is it strong or is it weak? If you look and really see what makes a leader effective. When I say leader now, again, it could be management, mid-management, upper management, all leaders, as well as the employees are leaders. When you employ that culture to your people, they're leaders because they count, they matter, because there is an I in team. They count, they matter, they affect the outcome. So what makes a leader effective? Well, I mean, there's a couple key points that really make leaders very powerful and effective. Leaders identify the opportunities. How can you identify the opportunities if you don't collectively meet with your people on a regular basis? Right? If you're constantly trying to stew things up on your own behind the scenes, you're not going to enroll people in, nor will they see your vision, right? So leaders identify opportunities. Leaders share the vision with their team. Think about this, guys. How many times do you work? Are you employed for an insurance company, a financial service company, a mortgage company, a real estate company, a car dealership? Do your leaders do you know the vision? Do you have any clue where they're going? What they want to accomplish? Are you enrolled in that vision? Do you feel part of that vision? If you're the leader, are you sharing that with your people? In other words, do you do it at the beginning of the year? Do you touch base after quarter number one, after quarter number two, at the midway point, at the third quarter, as we go down to the fourth quarter of the year? Here's where we're at. Here's where we're tracking. Do you have boards? Do you have things that identify? Here are the objectives. Here's the vision. Here's how we want to treat customers. Here's our customer service scores. This is what we're aiming for. This is what we talked about. Guys, it's a lacking skill that takes zero talent. It's an attitude thing. Leaders stimulate their team to think creatively. That makes a leader effective. Man, get your people to let them share their thoughts. Get excited about what's going on. Leaders have expectations of excellence. Look, I remember as a leader myself personally that I felt like if my vision was not large enough to where people looked at me and was like, "Wow," then I felt like I was on the wrong track. I felt like as a leader, I had to present something personally that would stretch me, stretch them, stretch everybody. And God help us if we hit it, because we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate. I mean, I can look back when I was at World Toyota in Atlanta, Georgia, 170 cars. We jump in that store at the end of 2005, November, and we hire some people in December. Boom, we start, excuse me, it's 2005. We start January, and here I am telling these people we're going to sell 400 cars a month. We're selling 170 cars. Come on, man. How are you going to sell 400? Well, guess what? We tipped all over 385 to 400 consistently for the whole year. It was about the vision. It was about enrolling the people. It was about creating excitement. It was about enthusiasm. It was about letting them see there's opportunity for personal growth. I believe that's what great leaders do. I think great leaders are positive role models. That doesn't just mean a role model in the facility. They watch you. As a leader, everybody watches you and your life. Your life's a resume. They watch what you do with your kids, your family. They watch how you conduct yourself in public settings, how you treat people, how you talk to people. They watch, and a great leader is a positive role model, somebody that somebody wants to emulate. Great leaders recognize accomplishments and they give feed forward. They don't give feedback, they give feed forward, constantly recognizing when people do a great job. Recognize the accomplishments. Give them the attaboys. Do it in public, right? These are small, fundamental things that hopefully are just a reminder for most of you guys. Hopefully you guys do a lot of these things. But if there's some things that I've shared thus far that maybe you're like, oh, you know what? That's something I forgot about. Because you know what? I can tell you, somebody could have come in my dealership at any given time and catch all kind of things. Right? I mean, there are a lot of things in everybody's operation. You can't be at all places at all times. But as a focused leader, I think it's imperative that some of the things we talk about with culture and what makes a leader effective is something that we've got to really, really dial into and tune into. A couple last things that I think when we're talking about effective leadership and ways to positively influence your business culture, I really believe in with all sincerity, I think that you got to have clear-cut outcomes and priorities and communicate them effectively. In any situation, you want to know the magic to any situation. So many times, whether it's you and your spouse, whether it's you and your employees, or you and your boss, and you're just not on the same page, most of the time, you're living in the land of expectations. You're living in the land of reading somebody's mind. You're not clear of what's going on, or they're not clear. And most of the time, the number one question you ask any team or even your family when we're about to have a major discussion about what we want to get accomplished, the number one question is, what's the outcome? What is the final outcome? Once we determine the outcome, all the behaviors and decisions are predicated on that outcome. It takes the emotion off the table. All emotions off the table. Forget how I feel. This is what we said we were going to do. This is what we agreed to do. We've all went over it. Everyone is clear. And now everything we do is aiming towards this outcome. If we're out of bounds or out of line from that outcome, take personal responsibility and own it. And raise your hand. My bad. That's right. That was me. That decision was not based on the outcome, you know? And I think if we can do these things, I promise you guys, you can run your business at the highest level and make change and make positive change and create positive results and really influence your team and and even your family. We're talking about body business balance. I mean, body being balance and business. You've got so many factors that great leadership is enrolled in. Everything that I shared with you is just as effective for you personally as a leader, for you by yourself, following the same culture about you, whether it has to do with your mental health and wellness and physical fitness. You have leadership traits and abilities that you need to employ with yourself to ensure that you have a spouse, you have children, right? You are the leader. You are the leader. And I can speak from conviction when I have not led. It's exposed. The reality is we're called to lead. We're called to lead. We're called to make right decisions, sound decisions. But if nobody knows what the end result, what the outcome actually is, now the decisions are all subjective. Well, I thought, well, I assumed, well, I thought you meant, all that heads to nowhere, and that heads to dysfunction, and that heads to chaos, and that heads to problems. So listen, if you're running your business, operating your business, go back, listen to this again, take some notes. Guys, I firmly believe that if you can operate your business with a strong business culture, become great leaders, recognize there is an I in team, teach that to your people, get your people eager and excited to want to grow, let them see the vision. I promise you, you will create phenomenal results in your personal business, your family, your body, your connection to God and spirituality. And consequently, when all those things go well, guess what happens to your bank account? Typically, the bank account goes up, which is always a nice thing. So guys, look, we'll see you next Sunday. Look, those of you who've caught this, maybe you haven't heard a podcast in a couple of weeks. Thank you for jumping back on. I encourage you, any leader you know that may find this interesting based on what you heard, maybe your boss, maybe your partner, I don't know, but always give some reciprocity. Take something you like, share it with somebody else. I appreciate everybody subscribing. I look forward to seeing you guys, talking to you guys next week. I've got a lot of things coming out available. I've got some courses that are getting ready to drop. I've got some coaching program. I'm super excited. I'll share all that stuff with you guys as well. But do me a favor, subscribe and share if you enjoyed this episode. And then also, if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't left a review, I'd love to hear any words you've got to share. Again, we will see you next Sunday. Next Sunday, I will drop it around 8 o'clock in the morning to get you started for your week. Listen, guys, kick some ass. And like I always say, man, if nobody's told you you're amazing, you're awesome, you got what it takes, I'm telling you right now, you're amazing, you're awesome, you got what it takes. If no one's told you they love you, your brother loves you. You got some love coming. You got what it takes, man. Let's crush this week coming. Y'all have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you next time on the Louie Herron Podcast.